And also, I mean, the fact that you've worked with some amazing people. I mean, just thinking back to collaborations with Mariah, with Diana Ross, Ed Sheeran worked on the last album as well. Is anyone working with you on future material on this album or anything that we should know about?
Well, this album has been very, very different to any other album we've ever done. And I think that goes the same for everybody in the world at the moment, with the way, the pandemic has affected everybody, every market, everything, So with us, this album wasn't planned. It came quicker than expected because the tour was postponed and then it was postponed again. And I mean, we were keeping in regular contact on Zooms and stuff. And we're like, well, what could we do? Do we just almost break up again and come back when the world is open again? Or what do we do? And then we just, I don't even know who said it, but we just decided, well, we could do an album from home. It is possible. And I think there was a few eyebrows raised going, well, how is that possible? I mean, we spent, albums, you're in studios, you need engineers, you need producers, we need to be together. How the hell would we do that? So I remember Steve Mack, who was written a lot of stuff for us, Flying with Wings, Swear It Again, Hello My Love, etc. And with Ed. And he said, well, you can actually get a mobile studio to go around the houses. You can invest in it, and it's the mic, it's the laptop, it's the everything, the box that goes over your head. And then it became a reality where, well, actually, radio presenters were broadcasting from home. TV presenters were business meetings, like, multinationals were in their houses doing Zooms. Why can't we? So we did it. We started to look into songwriting. Mark and Shane did a lot of songwriting together. Then they opened it up and started to songwrite with producers who had worked on many Westlife albums, but lived in LA or New York or London, but it was all on Zoom. And then I was doing my own songwriting with some Irish bands, Picture This, and a few lads from Codeline helped us out and sent some songs. So what we realized quickly was everybody in the world was in that same position.
Yeah.
And wanting to do the same thing. I mean, I was emailing Ed Sheeran during lockdown. We were talking about, what we were doing. I was doing gardening and he was doing this. And he had written a couple of songs and sent them our way as well. So it was weirdly, it brought people together, because usually what happens is you have to book time in. Our dates don't suit someone else's dates, and you got to fly 5,000 miles to LA and different things.
Yeah.
All of a sudden that was gone. And then we got in, I record a lot of the album in I have a sitting room downstairs, and the challenges that brings. We keep joking about the Wi-Fi dropping out, the dog bark, and the kids coming home from school, the delivery man hitting the doorbell. Whatever was going on in everybody's world happened to everybody. And it was crazy, but it was fun. So what it did for us was, we actually really got our creative juices flowing even more
than ever.
It thrust us into a whole new world. We've always dipped in and out of it, but
we could kind of do it. We could kind of, the good thing about us getting involved in the songwriting this time in a big way was a lot of it was done away from it all, with nobody really kind of known. It was all done as, we didn't have to bring it to anybody because nobody knew. It wasn't going into a studio in London and you're there with the best producer in the world, go, right, let's write a song. We were doing it kind of collectively and creatively away from it all. And it was lovely because then we had all these ideas and all these songs and brought it to different people then. And it was kind of like, there was no pressure on us to do it because nobody knew it was happening. And then obviously once we kind of started doing the final vocals and stuff like that, it was, the album just really came together, and we had so many songs and we were so picky and choosy because, this was not just Westlife, this was coming from the band now. This was very personal. So we had to be very picky. And the album is brilliant. The album really is brilliant, Jenni, and we're very, very proud of it. And
I mean, you would say that.
I would say that, but it is though. It genuinely is. It's definitely up in the top, probably 3 best albums we've ever done. I don't know.
Is it really
necessarily the best album, but it really is a strong album. It's definitely better than the last album.
Well, it's called Wild Dreams. It's out November 26th. I'm really looking forward to hearing it. I've heard some Starlight, which is out. It sounds really good, by the way.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a very positive song, and we did that song with Jamie Scott. Actually, he would have done a lot of the One Direction stuff, and Tom Grennan was actually involved, and Naughty Boy was actually involved in that song as well. So we were working with loads of different people that we might not necessarily work with before, but we had the time, we had Zoom, we could just do everything online. We didn't have to travel over and get, as Nicky said, get days in the studio with certain people. It was just all done as we did it, and it was so easy to do it. But Starlight's a very positive song, and I think a song coming out of all the madness of the last 2 years. It's just a happy song, and everybody just wants to be happy, and it's one of those kind of songs. So hopefully fans will seem to love it this morning, which is amazing.
Now, are the other songs kind of a similar vibe, or are they a different direction?
It's quite. I mean, there's some songs on there quite similar, and they're all very. I think they're a little bit biographical of where we all are in our lives, and particularly with COVID and different things going on. There's like "Alone Together" is a song that Shane and Mark did with Rami, who wrote "When You're Looking Like That" for us. I mean, that in itself, "Alone Together," was where we all were during the pandemic. I wrote a song called "Alive," which is a very positive, the lyrics of the world is coming alive. That
hopefully it will come alive.
And then there's a song on there, very sad ballad, because Shane unfortunately has lost his mum and dad quite recently, 6 months apart. So there's a song called "Always With Me," which Shane did with Steve from Codeline. And there's others. There's happy songs, a song called "Magic" on there, which is a real huge cabaret, fun, just a happy tune. So it's got a bit of everything, to be honest with you. Okay. And we're really pleased with it.
And then a tour as well coming as well.
Yeah, we've tour plans to be announced very soon, actually, Jenny, which is great. Obviously, it's the one thing that we love doing is going on tour and seeing all the fans and stuff like that. So we're announcing stuff about that in about 2 weeks' time. But we obviously have Wembley already, at Wembley Stadium next August, and a couple of big shows in Cork and Ireland that were meant to happen 2 years ago. So they're going to be part of a much kind of bigger kind of world tour now, that will start next year.
So, when you first got up on stage to like something like a Wembley, and you got up and there's all those thousands and thousands and thousands of people, do you remember which stage it was or which occasion?
Honestly, like when you say Wembley there and you think about the madness of the first couple of years of Westlife, like our first London show, we did 10 nights at Wembley. Like we were 10, like we were hoping to do one, obviously. We'd love to play Wembley sometime. But we did 10 nights, and they were sold out to the rafters. We could have done 15, but we just didn't have time. So that's kind of puts it in perspective of how crazy it was. But it was. Stepping on stage at Wembley was probably one of the most memorable shows at the very start. It was just like, oh my God.
Do you remember from the first time you performed, if you've done 10 nights, is it a different performance on the 10th night because you're so much more relaxed in that situation?
Every show, even today, every show is different because what I think what we enjoy now and what the fans enjoy, and they've said it to us, and actually somebody said it to me yesterday in an interview, that they came to the show and the best part they loved. I mean, they love hearing the big songs that we all say no, but us sitting down at the front of the stage, we do a segment where we might do, a couple of maybe 3 songs, but we have chats in between, and it's not scripted. It is what it is. Sometimes I might start talking and, Shane look at me and go, "Don't you dare go there. Don't mention that in front of all these people." And
he does anyway.
And vice versa.
Or we might sing Spice Girls songs.
Yeah, we just throw into whatever's coming up. And I think that's all organic. It's all fun. It's just off the cuff. And it makes a difference because the fans obviously know, or the people at the show know that can't be done the same way, the same night tomorrow, or wherever we are. And that's the same around the world, and it's a different audience, whether you're in Asia or America or London or Dublin or wherever, it's always different. And even up in Scotland, crazy fans, Northern Ireland, crazy fans. And it changes around the world.
The Glasgow audience is honestly, we did so many nights up there. It's just, I think we had stools outside. Remember outside the SECCC? We did. I think we've done 55 nights in the SECCC.
Yeah, you had a record. I think it's a record there. I think they actually put stools up there.
They did. They put stools up there, and I think they moved them around the back. I don't know where they are now. But we played the Hydro. The Hydro is an incredible arena. Because we always felt it was just a little bit smaller. You didn't have that. Scotland deserved to have this big, massive arena, and they've won as well now in Aberdeen as well. So there's options up there now, which is great. So there's some good news coming soon.
I do have to wrap up now, but before, we're just talking about the stools there. Whose idea was it first to do the stand up, halfway through? Because it became a bit of an iconic move.
Oh, Simon Cowell, he basically genuinely sat on a stool one day in one of the TV shows. He goes, "I'd like you to stand up on the key change." And he just stood up and on the key change, and we did it. But
we thought we were good dancers, right? So we looked at the Backstreet Boys and thought, we can do this, we can be that. And Simon was like,
"No, you're not going to be that.
Maybe we should just focus on the ballads." And if you remember, we were doing all this for Flying Without Wings and And
was
then
very good.
thank you. And then when we went to do some up tempos, we were like, that was why we didn't do many up tempos. If you look at the When You're Looking Like That video, if any other band, your NSYNC or your Backstreet, had a sang When You're Looking Like That, they probably would have done like some sort of routine, right?
Yeah.
We just jumped around as if we were on some kind of crazy night out party in South Africa. Remember?
I think we were.
And so Simon, when we did My Love, that was the big single of the second album. And he said, you know, what are we going to do? We've got all these TVs to do. And he says, 5 stools, sit down. And then the key change, we were like, what's going to happen? We're going to break into a dance break? No, you're going to stand up.
You're going to stand up. And we did it.
We can do that.
No, but we did it, right, Jenni? And it was obviously one of our famous moves, and we still do it. But the reaction from the audience, and they were like, we didn't really do anything. We were just singing the same song, but it just went up a half an octave, you know. And you're literally, and then we stood up, and they went. But it was just like, we were like, Jesus, he's right. This really had a reaction. And then when we did it in like Wembley and on the tour, people used to go, yeah.
I mean, how silly is it?
It was like we scored a Beckham free kick in the top corner and we were through to the World Cup every night. It was just so funny, but it worked, and it was our trademark then.